Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm the Gamer's Digester, and when trying to think of a video title for today, it honestly was a little bit hard. I still don't really know what I'm going to be calling this by the time it's uploaded. I don't know if I wanted this to be a should you buy, a kind of compare and contrast pros and cons between some of the different devices here video. But instead, I'm just going to give you my thoughts on the Legion Lenovo Go. Still, I've been saying that backwards this whole time, I bet. After doing quite a bit of research, I think there are some things here that I just would like to kind of voice. I mean, I'm not necessarily like upset or anything. I did cancel my pre-order, and hopefully by the end of the video, if you guys stick around that long, you'll understand why. Pretty much, first things first, all of you Ally owners out there, I'm just going to go ahead and say I think there's no reason you should upgrade. Absolutely none. After spending hundreds of hours playing all of these different devices, hundreds and hundreds of hours, I think I can confidently say there is no reason you should upgrade. Now, that's not to say that if you're looking to get into handheld gaming that you shouldn't get the Legion. That is definitely not what I'm saying. I just want to give everyone here the information that I've found, and you guys can do with that what you want. I'm not hating. I'm not trying to say don't go buy this. If you already have it pre-ordered, dude, I'm super happy for you. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. There are newer chipsets coming in 2024 and 2025. The AMD Strix Point is going to be coming out. It'll be much more powerful, and that is probably the first thing I'd like to touch on. The Legion is using the exact same internals as the Ally, and my biggest complaint, I'll get it off my chest right now, the screen. The screen size is great, but let's go into why 90% of what they are showing numbers wise are completely unusable. So the whole point of these has been to be very portable, and I think Nintendo did the best job at that, at balancing power efficiency with battery life. If you've had a Nintendo Switch, I mean, I played through the almost halfway through Doom Eternal on one charge on this. I had to pull an all-nighter for work, and I literally just played Doom Eternal pretty much the entirety of that time. Long story short. But yeah, I think power efficiency is probably one of the most important things. I think the Ally does a very poor job at that, depending on what power TDP you're at. 18 watts seems to be the best for a lot of people, but this is a powerhouse. I'm trying to get the most out of that. The Steam Deck is probably right up there. 15 watts. It's just incredible what this AMD chip is able to do with 15 watts. It just blows my mind every single time. Now we go all the way from here to 30 watts with this, and this has a 1080p display and a 120 hertz refresh rate, and I feel like that is perfect. Absolutely perfect. There is no reason that you should be offering 144 hertz and a 2K resolution, essentially 1440p resolution, for the same thing that this can do. I mean, there are most games that I play on this, I downgrade the resolution anyways. So what is the benefit of having that resolution if you're almost never going to be using it? Keep in mind, most people have a 27-inch or 24-inch 1080p monitor and still are having a ton of enjoyment out of that. And this is going to be just slightly bigger than this, and that's going to be 2K resolution. I'm not saying that that is bad on its own, but if we're looking at a power efficiency, right? If we're going to have to try to reach all of those different specs that this device has, we're never going to. It's just not going to happen with that chip. There is no AAA games, and I know that there are indie games, right? And that's definitely cool, but I'd love to hear someone tell me the difference between 120 hertz and 144 when you're playing an indie game on the go. Like what literally on the go. Like there is not anything that I can see that would make that beneficial. Same with the resolution. There is no indie game that will just look that much better at 2K resolution at like 8 inches big than it will at 1080p. So right there for me was a very big turnoff after doing a little bit more research. That's just going to burn your battery faster. Now, of course, the Legion has a bigger battery. but that's not to say that that is going to compensate. We'll just have to wait and see, of course, until we can see a lot more gameplay on these. But that was my first gripe. Second gripe, no VRR. Now, if you've played the Ally, this is probably one of my favorite things. One, the screen looks fantastic, but if you're playing something like Call of Duty or Halo or something where the frames can really fluctuate, VRR makes it so that those frame differences are much more smooth. And that was one of my favorite things from going from the Steam Deck to the Ally was just, it was like night and day. Someone flipped a switch. You could be playing something like Cyberpunk where you're only getting 45 frames or something at 1080p and it's kind of going all over. It feels like butter. I mean, if you had a computer next to you, you could tell the difference between the frame rate, of course, but if you're just like sitting down somewhere, and you have the monitor turned off, you really don't know what frames you're getting. And I think that was the magic that I think a lot of these newer devices are missing. It's like sometimes Nintendo does it, but there's just something about the device that it feels incredible. And I think the Ally really sold that for me. I wasn't necessarily sure what it was when I first got it, and now I know. And the Legion doesn't have VRR. Now, why does it have all of these really strange specs? It's a creation tablet screen. And when I say creation, it's for like creators, drawers, artists, people who draw, who like to take notes, stuff like that on a tablet. They're using that exact same display that came out, I think, a little bit earlier this year, and they're just putting it into a Legion. So initially, I thought, okay, that's like totally fine. That display is not made for what all of these others were made for. It was definitely probably a way for them to save costs because they already had whatever the plans to make that. They already had the factory to make that, or maybe they just had a bunch lying around. But slapping that into a device and just saying bigger number equals better is, in my case, in my opinion, that's not good. We just saw that. If you guys keep up with the computer world a little bit, with the new CPU, with the new Intel CPUs, they just threw on another generation and said bigger number, better. You guys should buy this. And of course, it's only like within the margin of error. It's like 2% better on the newer CPUs. So if you were to just lie this down in front of me and put a Legion next to it and say, this one has only 120 hertz, this one has 144, this one has 1080p, this one has 2K. Oh, but they both use the exact same internals. And this one is only getting about an hour and a half battery life. And you're not even using 1080p half the time. You're using 720p, which is the same as the Steam Deck. Oh, and you're locking the frame rate sometimes too. And you want to downclock or whatever, lower the wattage to 18 watts to get better power performance ratio. What the hell's the Legion even gonna be for then? I can't be crazy thinking about this. When I pre-ordered it, I was very excited. I thought maybe there was a little bit of magic here. And of course, upscaling is definitely real, right? I'm not gonna be bullshit you and tell you upscaling isn't real. But upscaling from 1080p to 2K resolution is definitely not as easy as upscaling from 720 to 1080. It's just math here. It's not going to be as efficient. Now, we do have a little bit bigger of a battery, which is always a plus. If you guys are familiar with the channel, it's something I would always talk about. Is I'm not super happy with always having to carry around one of these. Not to say that's bad, but if you're already going to be lugging this around everywhere with you, trying to fit something like this along with you, it's not the easiest thing. And these can only account for about one charge, like one full charge, if even that sometimes, while playing. I'm just a little turned off, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. That was just the screen. Now, the second thing here is the actual, I don't want to call it a gimmick, because I know a lot of people are really excited about this. I was really excited about it too. I do carry around a mouse, and sometimes I've got a smaller Razer Huntsman Mini keyboard that fit really nicely in a carrying case that I have. And first things first, my one Valorant video that I made, Valorant is a competitive shooter. I made a video on that with the Ally, and all of a sudden it just kind of blew up a little bit. It got a lot more views than I thought it was going to get originally, and that kind of showed me, wow, there's actually a decent amount of people who want to play like a competitive shooter like Valorant on the go. How weird is that? I kind of just did it as a joke because I did play Valorant. And then I realized, I was like, whoa, the Legion Go could be perfect for them. It could be perfect. You'd be able to play. It literally has them with you. Wouldn't have to carry around all these extra things with you, doohickeys and whatever. You could just have that. It has a stand on the back as well, so you don't need to wait for someone to add it with a case. That was a really big thing. I love having these, and I have to have a case that has a stand in the back. But it was perfect. And then you look at some of the videos posted, and especially, I'm not calling anybody out here, but ETA Prime's video he just posted, if you watch that, look really closely, and I mean really closely, at some of the Doom Eternal, some of the footage that he had. Notice how he barely moves the mouse, and when he does, there's literally like almost there is a lot of delay in the inputs. Now, I don't know if that's because of the connection type between the actual removed control sticks and that, but man, that did not look good to me. And it was just more confirmation, right? Like everyone loves that when you buy something or don't buy something, you love to find online people who agree with you. But for me, it did feel nice to see, wow, the one of the things I wanted to use this for was bad. I actually probably made a better decision here. And that's not to say that I won't get this eventually, just not right now. It just unless something changes in the future, I think waiting for these newer chipsets is going to be better for everyone in the long run. But yeah, and sorry, I completely glazed over one of my favorite points is most games that are controller and mouse, controller and mouse aren't like Valorant. In order to play Valorant, you have to have a dedicated keyboard and mouse. You're not going to be able to use a mouse and use a joystick. That game, I'm telling you, unless they found some way to have this turn into a keyboard, this side, and have this be WASD, there's no way that most of these shooters that a lot of these people want to play are going to work. And I will eat that when it comes out, and if that appears not to be the case and they found some way to map it as a keyboard. But as of right now, the only games that I've seen him play and I've seen others play are both supported. So like Halo Infinite has been a game I've been playing a lot recently. If I feel like, wow, my aim's really bad on keyboard and mouse for whatever reason, I can just grab the controller and it's no problem. You can set the controller down. No settings have to change. You can just start playing on keyboard and mouse. It's a very even and level playing field. Now, something like Call of Duty, you have to select one or the other. If you load into the match with a controller and you're like, wow, these kids are really getting sweaty, I can't just lean back anymore, you can't. You're locked. Before the round starts, you have to select. And that is not the only game that does that. There are a lot of games. So personally, I'm very intrigued to see how they work around that. Or maybe it was just a really big oversight. But I guess we'll just have to see. I think we're going to cut this a little bit short here. I know I could just ramble all day. It's my favorite thing. But the one things that I wanted to leave out until I saw more people actually get them and unbox them was the build quality. That was something that was I was very reserved with talking about. I didn't necessarily want to, it just looked cheap to me at the beginning. We'll have to see. And I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying it looked that way, and I have the right to say that it looked that way. When at the end of, I guess it's already referenced, at the end of ETA's video, if you watch when he flips the Joy-Cons, whatever you want to call them, when he flips them up, yeah, those look kind of rough to me. I don't know. I'll let you guys take a look at that. I know I always talk about Nintendo very highly. I love the finish. I love the quality of their products. I think that when you have kids in mind as far as designing something, the quality tends to go way up. And what I mean quality is, this thing is probably made to get thrown around the room. This is probably made to get sucked on, food spilled on it, And then when you put it into the hands of an adult, that is my favorite thing, because it's like a Toyota car, right? Like it just gives me a certain feeling that I know that what I'm holding here is a quality product. Now, it wasn't like that at launch, but now that it's 2023, I definitely do feel that way. You guys can argue with me in the comments on that. I feel like these products sitting in front of me are very refined and are just fantastic products. Yeah, I think we'll end that there. I won't talk about the speakers because it's a big deal to me. I don't know if anyone else is going to feel that way. The speakers have been actually, like, Lenovo told us that they're really not that great. And I love the Dolby Atmos support that these speakers have. I don't like the Steam Decks that much. I think these are definitely setting the bar high. But, oh boy, can't wait for the comments. I definitely am excited. I love what the Legion is doing for pushing the space forward as far as features, and I don't think that it's a bad thing right now. I just don't think it's something that a lot of people should purchase. And I don't mean that in like a boycott way. I mean that in, there's not much of an advantage if you're already owning these devices. If you're not doing something like what I'm doing, if you're not a YouTuber, if you're not somebody who has a reason to have all these, no one's telling you need to collect them all. If you already have an Ally, dude, you know the performance you're going to get. It's just going to be a little bit bigger. Just go and buy a portable monitor if that's what you need, is a little bit bigger screen, and you'll save hundreds of dollars that you could use towards getting one of the newer ones when they come out later next year. So yeah, man, I could just keep going forever. But I appreciate you guys. I really do hope you've all had a good weekend. I know not a lot's going on screen here. It's kind of hard to play games and talk sometimes. But yeah, I hope you guys found this insightful. I'd love to hear your feedback if you think I'm crazy, if you think there's some things that I missed out, or things that I'm glazing too much on. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But with all that said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace, y'all.